What's going on, guys? This is GameZone. Welcome to my channel. So I have been playing Diablo 4 for almost 21 hours now with my rogue class. I did not join other classes because I wanted to get familiar with just one, because this is my first time playing Diablo 4 close beta. I have not played previously in alpha or the other uh version that came out earlier for testing. So this was my first experience and I am going to share my experience. The first thing which I would say that I actually didn't like is the soundtrack. It's almost feel like that this specific soundtrack is just keep on running on the background while you are actually exploring the world, and the theme doesn't change at all. And even when you go inside the dungeons, which there are tons of dungeons and I still have some couple of them left to do, this soundtrack, or I'm not sure if there are other soundtracks that also plays in the dungeon, but they almost sound the same. And I would say that Diablo 3 and Diablo Immortal has done a better job with soundtrack, in my opinion. I myself really didn't like the soundtrack running around in the background, so most likely I am just going to turn it off completely once I am done with the campaign when the Diablo 4 come out. And the next thing, let me just quickly show it to you guys. There are 4 difficulty right now, 2 of them are unlocked. I started my experience with the veteran 2, so I have played Diablo 4 from the beginning as veteran 4, and this is not that hard. I would say it was a really nice experience if you are familiar with Diablo's game. Then there are 2 more difficulties and we can see what they actually give. Sacred and unique item drops, which are locked. Nightmare sigils can drop that unsealed nightmare dungeons. Hell ties can appear across sanctuary, so this is a event. Champion monster with damage resistance auras can appear. That's another monster type. And then there are some information regarding the enemy detail. And when we go on the Torment 4, it says now we can get ancestral items and new unique items. So the point of me is showing that, hold on, it also says that 200% increased damage, XP I mean, and 15% more gold, and monster overcome 40% resistance. But anyways, the point of showing it to you guys is that we have only touched the tip of the iceberg in Diablo 4 close beta, meaning if you guys see that if you guys expect that you want to experience the end game character or your class, then that is not going to be possible, because hold on, let me quickly show it to you guys. Where is it? Menu? Oh, I don't know how to open that. Hold on, I'll just turn on my controller.
Not in town.
Yeah. The abilities are locked. We only get 28 points and we have to be very specific what we want to try out, but I can pretty much say that we are not even like 50% close to the end game, because we have Paragon tab also locked that will further modify our skills and make us more furious against enemies. So yeah, that's that. Also, the most powerful weapons are actually locked for higher difficulty, so there is actually a lot that we still have not seen, but for what we have seen so far, that game is actually fun. But the only thing which I felt missing are bounties and some pop-up activities in open world. There are certain activities located in the same location, and we can do that over and over again if you just stay there, and they will just keep on popping up for you because it's an open world for all players, so they reset really quickly. So you can just stand there and wait until the activities pop themselves again, and you can just keep on doing that and keep getting XP and reward if that is something you like. But there are not going to be monster appearing out of nowhere against you, or some mini activities that you will see in world that people might show up and you can interact with them, like Diablo Immortal. When you go in the zones, you will see a lot of guys that you can interact with and do side quests, and at the end of that side quest you actually get some material. That is not the thing here, but yes, when you go to the different towns like this, they have their activities and they will just keep on popping up. I guess that is why they say it's a level 1. Maybe I did couple of them and still doing them, but for what I feel that the world is actually quite big and it needs some more activities to fill the world, in my opinion, because nothing really is happening special that would actually catch your eye. You will always see that there are monsters around you that you can actually defeat and keep moving towards your objective or target that you are aiming for. So it feels a bit empty for my taste, but I am not sure what you guys feel. And then there are dungeons. Blizzard has already said that there are going to be 100 of these dungeons entire in the world of Diablo 4, which we will be able to do. But I would suggest is, once you start the Diablo 4 when it comes out, right, only aim for the dungeon that is actually going to provide codex of power for you, because this way you can actually build your playstyle much more quicker and save time. This is going to be much better way to progress until you reach to the dormant 4 and highest level. And once you hit the highest level, then I would highly suggest to complete all these dungeons once the game is done, because then you will be playing with your own play style and the end game content. Then these dungeons are going to be fun. But the other thing about these dungeons are, if you're doing it solo, they feel really long, and for some reason I felt it was shallow. The reason being is, when you go inside these dungeons, yes, there are monsters, yes, there are objectives that you have to complete, but the element of story is lacking behind these dungeons. There is pretty much no story inside these dungeons but monsters. You can go in, defeat monster, do objective, and at the end of the dungeon you are going to face a dungeon. But if you are doing it solo, you might find this boring, in my opinion. I have been doing that a lot, and coming from the Diablo Immortal and spamming those dungeons in Diablo Immortal, I felt like the dialogues and the story is actually missing. But I played today with Apollyon Gaming, and it was more fun playing this dungeon in the party, and definitely this dungeon can be more fun if you're doing it with the party or friend. So I would highly suggest you guys, if you are planning on hunting for all the dungeons that you are seeing when you are going to play, definitely join a party or invite a friend over so you can actually have more fun, because doing this dungeon is actually boring solo. Then the story, Act 1, I have finished the Act 1, and I can say without spoiling anything, this is just the beginning. uh the plot, act 1 was just to set up the plot, and there is still a lot to be revealed. So the story is actually really interesting, and again, playing with party is going to make it more fun. And the graphically, the game looks absolutely beautiful, I would say, although it needs some tweaking. As you can see right now, it is using my entire VRAM of graphic card and almost utilizing the entire memory RAM of my system, which is 32 GB. So it needs some tweaking, but the performance itself is actually nice, and I think this is something which will be fixed when the final version comes out. So we will be seeing a lot less memory utilization and VRAM once the final version comes out. But for now, the game is not optimized properly. But if you have a good system, then it will not have the issue for you guys. And then I tried to go into the other areas as well, but unfortunately they are locked. But I did saw the transition between snow and the desert, and I can say that I am excited to explore some other worlds, I mean the other areas of this world, and fight against new monsters. This is going to be fun, but again, my concern is that the world actually need more stuff to fill in. The strongholds are there. Fracture Plains has 3 strongholds. I am missing one at the moment, which might be here, which I might explore again, but there are not many activities. As you can see here, Fracture Plane has 35 side activities and 23 of these dungeons, if I am not mistaken. Maybe, yeah, that is what it says. So there might be some other areas to explore as well, but this is not Fracture Plane, because when you come down to the Fracture Plane, it will start showing you the detail that is a Fracture Plane. I go here, it shows the other region. It's a Dry Steppes. Dry Steppes is a desert area and it looks amazing. I went there, tried to reach an unforeseen visit, but we cannot. But anyways, the monetization is actually not available inside the game at this point. I looked everywhere, but the monetization system is locked. But what I have heard is that there are going to be seasons for $15 to $10 that you can actually purchase, and they are going to give you some buffs. But so far I have not seen any anything that would actually indicate that the game is pay to win until we reach to the Dormant 4. I cannot say for sure. But the one more bad thing I really didn't like, that these normal gems which actually drop in the open world, and you really don't need to join a party to get this. So the bad thing is that they are taking a lot of space in your equipment, and they should have their own separate tab in my opinion, just like other stuff. This is really bad. It is taking a lot of space in my opinion, and they should have their own tab, just like Diablo Immortal. And the inventory, I mean the character, looks really nice on the side here. They have done it really well. There is not many stuff that could actually make you confused, except the skill system when you jump in, or the Paragon. I have no idea what it's going to look like, but we can see that as well. Available must contain or selected key. indicate to you guys. So that is actually really good. Lucky hit, it shows that what lucky hit is, so you can actually have the idea and make your own builds, you know, using this. Like, I want to use hold on, I want to use imbuement with the shadow and vulnerable, and then it's going to show you some specific things that these are the skills available to your searching, and you can make up your builds like that. So it's a good thing that they actually thought about this. And talking about town, is actually a really good town. And again, if you guys get bored listening to this music, then you would understand. It's just boring in my opinion. There are some towns, and you can also unlock different towns by clearing these strongholds. There are 3 strongholds in fractured land. But anyways, this is all I wanted to talk about. And am I excited for the game? Well, if you're coming from the Diablo Immortal, I can say one thing, which is that Diablo 4 is not a fast-paced game like Diablo Immortal. You are definitely going to feel like that it is going to take much more longer for you to reach the end game, because the pacing and the damage is actually slower, at least at this point with level 25. The pacing is definitely slower. When I went back to Diablo Immortal today, I was literally destroying everyone and not stopping even for a second. But here this is not the case, but it is fun nonetheless. Diablo 4 is definitely going to be a success of Diablo 3 in my opinion. It might affect the Diablo Immortal players. I mean, some players might not play Immortal after this, but I am definitely going to play both, because for me this is an opportunity to jump between 2 games when I get bored with one. So if there is no content coming out and you feel like that you are stuck, you can just play the other game while waiting for the update to arrive, and this way you can keep your experience and time fun. So yeah, definitely Diablo 4 is something I am looking for and going to get my hands on it. And yeah, that's it for the video, and I will see you guys in my next one. Until then, take care, have fun, and bye guys.